everyone, welcome and thanks so much for joining us for another Make It Monday. It's Spice Edition. You might have had the chance to pick up some of our spice kits we put together for June. If you didn't, next month there's another try at that, and we'll have them available at Mount Logan, Maine, and Northside branches. We're going to talk about the spices. I'll give a few fast facts about the spices, and then we'll show you how to cook with your spices. So for this month, we had 3 spices. We did cardamom, anise, and nutmeg. And in that spice kit that you might have been able to pick up, we had a cookie mix that we're going to show you something fun you can do with that and the spices. Yes. And just to give you some fast facts, cardamom is one of the spices. It came from India and Indonesia. An interesting thing about cardamom is that some Koreans put it in tea. You might find it if you're a lover of Indian cuisine. And the Finnish people use it in sweetbread. Nutmeg, some of you might be familiar with. I definitely think of nutmeg as a seasonal, warm fragrance and spice, but the Indonesian also use it in their oxtail soup, and the Dutch enjoy it in their rice pudding. And anise, it has a very interesting history. Some think that it might have originated with the Romans and their wedding cake. So we think we might get the modern wedding cake from anise, which was used as digestive. So that's just a few fast facts about the spices. If you have our kit, there's more history, and you can also use our library resources or even call the reference desk and ask for some information about these spices.
Yeah, I know when I open the jar of the cardamom, the first thing that I immediately think of is chai tea, because I love chai tea. Yeah. And I've never mixed up my own, but I suspect that cardamom is one of the major ingredients.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to show you a little bit about what you can do with the kit if you have that, or if you just want to put together these ingredients yourself and give it a try. Okay, so if you received one of our kits for this class, in the kit was a sugar cookie mix and a little bit of each of these spices: ground nutmeg, ground cardamom, and anise seeds. And I'm going to show you how to mix up the cookies, and season some of them with the different spices so that you can try them out. So I have all these 3 things here. I also have a half stick of butter, which is what you need to mix up the cookies, along with 1 tablespoon of water. Of course, 1 tablespoon measuring spoon is the one that disappeared on me. So this is a half tablespoon. Let's do 2 of those. And the mix. Mix this all together. I'm using a dough whisk for this. It's my favorite way of mixing together a lot of batters. You can also use a fork or a spoon or whatever you have on hand. In fact, because this is a small batter mix, I think I might find that I need to switch over to a spoon in a minute here. Seems to be coming together pretty well, actually. Switch over to a spoon here. Scrape off as much of that as I can. All right, and there we have it. There's our dough. I'm going to use my clean hands here to just press the dough together into a ball. I don't want to warm it up too much with my hands because the butter will tend to melt. Push that together. We have 3 spices, but my plan is to do the cookies 4 different ways. So we have 1 unseasoned and then some seasoned with each of the 3 spices. I'm just going to cut this into 4. And then set this aside for a minute. 3 small bowls. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a little bit of sugar in each bowl. Anyone who's made snickerdoodles will be familiar with this. The sugar has a few lumps. I'm just going to press those out. And then I'll put just a little bit of each of these seasonings in with the sugar. I'm going to go with 1/8 of a teaspoon. So, nutmeg. Cardamom. And then the anise I'm going to hold off on for just a minute. Because the anise, the nutmeg and the cardamom are both ground, and the anise is in whole seeds. So I'm going to do something a little bit different with that. Okay, so this recipe said that it would make a dozen cookies. So that would be 3 each from the 4 different types. So I'm just going to roll my cookies into a little ball and then roll them around in the spice. And I'll have to remember which one's which. This is the cardamom, the nutmeg, and then the third one is going to be the anise. And actually, as I'm getting a little bit of this sugar on my fingers, I'm going to go ahead and roll these into balls, and then I'll do the sugar a little more all at once. So just pinching off a little bit, rolling it into a ball, setting it down in that sugar. And I didn't do a very precise job of dividing those. So they're coming out a little bit different sizes, and that's okay. Okay, so in the bowl with just the plain sugar and no spices, some of these I'm just going to roll around in the sugar and then do nothing with them so that we have some of them made up without any spice. And then the anise, I'm actually going to just press into one side so that the anise seeds are just on the bottom of the cookie, not all the way around. I'm a little bit worried. The anise seeds, if you have these at home, you'll be able to look at it. The anise seeds have little tails hanging off of them almost, little stems. And I'm a little bit worried that if I have the anise seeds all over the cookies, then they're going to burn. Those stems are going to burn. As I roll these, I'm laying them out on a greased cookie sheet. So these were the cardamom. This is the nutmeg. And before I bake these, I'm actually going to transfer them to a bigger cookie sheet. I just brought this little cookie sheet because that's what was easy to get on the camera, but it's not necessarily going to be the best for baking these. These three just get just sugar, and then the other three, I'm going to roll in the sugar first. And I'll get some of these anise seeds. I'm just going to put them kind of into one corner of my bowl. And press these in. See, they get anise seeds on the bottom. Perfect. And then, because sugar cookies would normally be rolled, I'm just going to take this measuring cup, could also use a glass, and press the cookies down before I bake them. And I'm going to keep doing that, but I'm going to actually move the rest of these over to the bigger baking sheet before I finish doing that. So these are ready to go in the oven. The cookie recipe says 375 degrees for 7 to 9 minutes. So I will be back with the cookies in a minute. All right, and here are the cookies. I ended up baking them on the little dish, on the little cookie sheet, because by the time I got this home, they didn't want to come off without breaking. They had gotten warmed up just in that little bit of time, and they were really squished, but they actually worked out okay. Yeah. So these are the anise ones with the seeds on the bottom. I think they're actually really pretty.
Yeah.
With that anise on the bottom. So we had cardamom, nutmeg, just sugar, and anise. And if you're following along, if you're following along at home, you'll be able to taste these. I'm going to do a little taste test here.
Exciting.
I think you could see in the video there was some sugar left over. And so the amount of spice that was actually going on the cookies was less than I anticipated. I think the taste will tell me that if I did this again, I would want to do a little bit less sugar. So if you're doing this at home, just do a little bit less sugar. I definitely taste the cardamom in that. That's a neat flavor to add to the cookies.
What does cardamom taste like in a cookie?
It tastes very earthy. As I was saying before, it smells to me like chai tea, and it's definitely the sort of round note from a chai tea.
Oh, okay.
It's tasty. And then nutmeg to me, I always think of beverages.
Yeah.
Nutmeg, I think of eggnog.
Right, yeah.
So this tastes like an eggnog cookie, which is really fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
I like that a lot. And then the anise, I have to show this one. This one kind of got golden on one side.
Oh, yeah.
I love it when sugar cookies get brown like that on one side. You know, I really like black licorice. A lot of people don't, but that is really good.
Right.
Often to me, sugar cookies are just way too sweet.
Right.
And adding a little bit of spice, obviously they're even a little bit sweeter because I put sugar on the outside of them. But the spice really makes a difference on those.
Right. And I was thinking it might be good for people who you have to bake for your family, people who don't like that when it's too sweet and they want something a little bit more earthy, like you said. So good mix if you're baking for people and they have a lot of different tastes.
Well, I think that the cardamom would actually go really well with a little bit of lemon. I know some people will put some grated lemon rind in their sugar cookies.
Oh, okay.
This one didn't have that, but I think a little bit of grated lemon rind with the cardamom would just be really delicious.
Yeah.
And in the kit that we gave out, we did have a couple of other recipes too. So
right.
If sugar cookies aren't your thing, there are other things to try too.
Yes, I think we had maybe a beverage or a dip. That might be July though. We had some exciting stuff. Tried to have well-rounded. But for July, if you didn't get a chance to pick up a kit, I was looking and it's July 12th on a Monday. We're going to have another stream for July spices. So the week before that, you could come to any of those 3 locations I mentioned earlier and pick up a kit. You don't have to sign up or anything. And if you have any questions about how to find one, we can certainly answer that. I know we'll have a whisk in that kit. And we'll have lots of recipes, and you'll get a little booklet that'll tell you more information about the spices, and if you're interested in cooking, how you can use some of the library's resources to get into cooking.
And I think next month's spices, I know we have turmeric and cinnamon, but I don't remember what the third one was.
I think it's ginger.
I think you're right.
Ginger.
That sounds right.
Yes.
So exciting stuff to try out.
Yep.
And of course, it's summer, so we can't have a video without mentioning Bookworm. I hope everyone signed up for Bookworm. Bookworm is for all ages. So if you're an adult and you remember doing Bookworm as a kid, guess what? You can do it now too.
And reading a cookbook would count, right?
That's true. Anything you're reading, anything that you are reading to yourself or to someone else, or if someone else is reading to you, it all counts.
That's perfect.
All right. Thanks, Laura.
Thanks, Liz, for making those cookies and testing them out.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye.